Hello, everybody. Welcome to the inaugural edition of PixelPlay Sidequests. This is our short, usually timely news-based segment where we go into something that we normally wouldn't go in our full view podcast episodes. Obviously, the gang's all still here. I'm Adam, aka CS Radical. Joined to me is Jin and Chris, who I'm not even pointing at because I don't understand how cameras work. And then Kaylan, who I still haven't pointed at correctly over there because, again, I don't understand how cameras work. But it is what it is. We're pushing on. So, on this week's episode, which you can check out every Wednesdays at noon, we were talking about the idea of fear of missing out on games. And one of the biggest games that we were talking about in conjunction with that topic was Baldur's Gate 3, because obviously right now it is getting amazing reviews to the point that, like, I've honestly never seen it like this before. Like, it's just blown up. I would never have a million years thought this game would have done and what it's done. Like, I thought that it had a chance of being decent, but I would never have expected A, getting blown up in terms of player count, and then B, with the reviews. And as it stands right now, on Metacritic, the top two games this year, 1 and 2, right tied with each other, is Baldur's Gate 3 and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, both at a 96. Now, we talked a while back about what we thought the potential Game of the Year nominees would be if we had stopped at the first half of the year. We're barely into the second half, and we now have clear competition in terms of the review ratings. And we still have yet, obviously, if Starfield ends up actually being a really good game, if Spider-Man 2 ends up pulling out really nicely, and who knows what else might just pop in as things go along as well. There's always that chance that something else completely flies under the radar, like Baldur's Gate 3 just did. So, my question to you guys, and on our inaugural editions of SideQuests, do you think that right now, I mean, we know at this point Baldur's Gate 3 will be a nominee, but do we think it's actually enough to take in our minds, because the general public is going to be its own thing, but in our minds right now, even without none of us playing this game, do you think it has a chance to dethrone Zelda right now as the current favorite to be Game of the Year this year? So, you know what, we'll start with Chris on this one.
Yeah, I think it does. It's kind of becoming a cultural phenomenon. It's not like Baldur's Gate is new, but it's new in the sense that the second one came out in like the 90s. So I guess it's new. But yeah, I have a feeling like it's got 520,000 people playing it right now on Steam. It peaked at like almost like not CS:GO, but I think it was like the second most played game on Steam for player base and everything like that. It beat out Hogwarts Legacy. I think also on Steam. Again, we only have the numbers for Steam. I'm sure. Oh no, wait. I mean, compared to like other systems and stuff like that with Hogwarts Legacy, but still, it's got so many people playing it, and like no one's upset of it except other developers. Odd, weird other news where developers are mad at it because
conversation. That could be our next week
that's
topic. Just going through that, all those weird tweets that people have been sending
that's
out.
so dumb. Like it's made well and it's good. That's good. Just leave it be good.
It's an unreasonable standard to expect. I'm like, yes, from every developer, but I'm sorry, AAA developers, that's the fucking job for you. That's what you're supposed to be doing.
It's been in early access for over a year. You could play it last year if you wanted on PC. It just wasn't as popular. That's just, I guess that just works. You know what I mean?
I mean, compare from Larian to say like an Activision Blizzard or a Bethesda or whatever else. Like, there are so many more people at these other companies. You should be able to pull this off. Your budgets are bigger. Your staff is bigger. You should have the brightest talent by that logic.
Yeah, 100%.
You should be able to pull it off. But that again, we're getting too far into that direction. That's a conversation for maybe next week.
Yeah, but I do think that it is very much a contender to compete. Like I'd say it's the closest one we have this year to compete against Tears of the Kingdom. All the other ones I thought that would have, I don't think have the same staying power that Tears of the Kingdom has had. But this one, as big as it is, I think people are going to be playing this for the rest of the year, and it's still going to be topical. And it's the closest one, I think. Will it beat it? I'm still torn. I'm actually like at a 50-50 because they're two slightly different genres and slightly different groups of people. Like one is on a Nintendo platform open to more casual gamers. Baldur's Gate more PC, more serious
with the D&D
gamers.
License too, you got a real real passionate audience there too.
Yes, 100%.
Can you imagine? Because is Armored Core 5 supposed to be out this year, or Armored Core 6?
Like
this week 6. Yeah, it's supposed to be out
this week, isn't it?
Can you imagine if that game is amazing too, and now you have you have the Nintendo fan base, the D&D fan base, and the From Software fan base all at each other's throats and coming. Jeff Keighley is gonna just give up. Like he's gonna be like, no, we're not doing game awards this year. It's not worth it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I'm not pissing off two of these fan bases at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know if it'll beat Tears of the Kingdom. For me, right now, it's tied, but I think it's the closest thing we've got to beating it this year. And I think it has a really, really, really good chance.
Kaylan, what do you think?
I'm not gonna bet against Zelda. The thing is that it's Zelda. Like it's got such popularity. Like Baldur's Gate is getting huge accolades right now, but it's pretty much brand new. Like it's just coming out. It's coming out in 2 weeks for PS5. Like it's good, but I don't know if it's gonna have the staying power. And like people are still talking about Tears of the Kingdom. Like you're still seeing clips and videos and streamers of stuff of Tears of the Kingdom, and I don't know if that's going to be the case for Baldur's Gate. I think it's going to be might be one of those situations where it gets a huge sort of bump, and then once Starfield comes out, maybe that's when it like starts getting like we start seeing it die down a little bit.
Unless
I don't know.
Starfield
Like I
ends
think
up being really bad, and in which case Baldur's Gate is going to stick out like a real sore thumb.
For sure. But I think also that Baldur's Gate is a lot more niche as well, right? Like it's a D&D
well, you would have
game
thought so, but given how many people are playing it, right?
Yeah, but how many people are like just dabbling their feet, getting into it and stuff, and oh, this is good, they like it, but it may not have the full cash appeal of like a Tears of the Kingdom does. So for me, I would say that like, yeah, I'm not going to dispute that Baldur's Gate will not be in discussion for Game of the Year, but at the same time, I don't know if it's going to dethrone Zelda, which is a known entity that has a huge fan base, and like let's be honest, Nintendo does have that Nintendo bias bump, and I think that will help it as well.
So Chris gave it like a 50-50 in his eyes. If you had to put like an odds to it, what do you think the odds are for Baldur's Gate being able to have a chance at it? Like percentage wise, like what do you think it is compared to Zelda?
I'd say 30% chance to 70% chance. 30% that Baldur gets it, 70% that Tears of the Kingdom gets it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be completely honest. It's about where I fall too, and it's because again, it's me going twofold of it's Nintendo. Nintendo always gets that extra rub. Honestly, the 30% has nothing to do with the fact that Baldur's Gate is really good. I'll be completely honest here. That 30% to me is people who because I don't know how their voting system works with the Game Awards specifically, but my brain is going that 30% isn't because the game is tied Metacritic wise. My game is going, okay, if we're gonna give a tiebreaker, we've already given a Game of the Year to a Zelda game. Okay, I think we can give something else the spotlight. Like, I think at this point, and I'm sure if I end up ever playing both, I don't think that's possible because I don't like Breath of the Wild, so playing Tears of the Kingdom is kind of unlikely for me. But, like, I'll go into playing Baldur's Gate at some point because I hope to do it this year. And if I end up really liking it, I'm still going to have the same idea that even if I really love that game, I'm going to go, but it's not Zelda. That Zelda, like, it's not even like Mario, it's Zelda. Like, Nintendo already has the bias, and now it's Zelda. Which literally, like, I'm trying to think, like, the quote unquote bad reviewed Zelda games are like 7s. That's like a bad Zelda game. That's like Spirit Tracks, Phantom Hourglass level stuff. Mainstream Zelda, like the big hits, even Skyward Sword that a lot of people don't like, got very favorably reviewed. So you're already climbing a really steep hill. But because, like we said earlier, it's a D&D crowd, which is its own very big niche. There's an intrigue there because we're now talking, it's definitely the kind of group that I know that the Game Awards and Jeff Keighley would probably be heavily associated in too. So their votership, if that's how it works, would also probably look at Baldur's Gate and be like, oh, I really like D&D too. And like I said, if From Software with Armored Core is also really good lord, that decision. If like we have 3 sets of like 95 plus tier games, like even if it's like Armored Core is in the 90s on Metacritic, people are going to look at this. We're going to come back to this conversation when they put up the nominees, and I'm going to go, I don't fucking know anymore. Like I'm just going to toss a 3-sided coin that doesn't exist and hope to God it doesn't land on its side,
Let's roll a d20.
Well, I'd always roll 1, so I don't know what that means. Oh, if I roll a 1, crap, that means Starfield wins. Oh, no. Oh wait, Redfall wins. Never mind. Starfield. We haven't seen.
Yeah, it's got to be
guaranteed
something
bad yet.
worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't, even if it's bad, it won't be Redfall bad. I mean, I hope it wouldn't be Redfall bad because that was bad.
And I guess it also brings up the question too of like, now that we originally thought when we were talking about the first 6 months, like, what the heck is going to possibly have a shot at taking out Tears of the Kingdom? Now that Baldur's Gate 3 has come out and it's basically on par with it right now, now the question is there anything else that can become a third?
Starfield, I think, is the best shot.
Sonic Superstars.
And that's the crazy thing with Starfield too, right? Like, it's either going to be massively well praised or it's going to be a shit. Like, if it ends up being like middling 8s across the board, I'll be shocked because I don't feel like it's the kind of game that can get right around that point. It's either going to be like 5s and 6s across the board or it's going to be 9s and 10s. I don't see how we're going to get in the average in between.
I think Microsoft needs this to be a 10. And I don't want to get into a whole separate conversation, but Microsoft needs this to be a 10.
They do. They really, really do.
And as for Sonic Superstars, we know it's going to be good because it's the game after Frontiers, so it has to be good. And then we're going to get another bad one. That's the cycle of Sonic games.
4-player classic Sonic with Lego DLC, Lego Sonic. Oh my God, that's game of the year.
It's like Resident Evil. We've had a couple of good ones. We have a remake now. We've had remakes to kind of remind us. Now we got to wait for the really bad Resident Evil game to come out again, and we restart the cycle once again. So, but yeah, like it's a tough question to answer because like Baldur's Gate, I honestly had no expectations of. When I saw it first announced, I'm like, oh, that's really cool for that fan base because it's been so long since a Baldur's Gate game's been out. But I had no thought process at all that it was going to be even close to this. Like, if you had told me Baldur's Gate was going to finish above an 85 on Metacritic, I would have been like, oh, that's good for them. If you had told me 90, I would have been like, get out of your... No. Yeah. That kind of game generally never hits that high. And then if you told me it was going to be tied with Tears of the Kingdom, I said, I don't smoke, but I'm quite curious now. What are you smoking?
100%. Yeah, because it's like Divinity Original Sin 2, who's the same developer. Like, that's a good game. It's a big game, but it's not like people weren't talking about it like, oh, it's going to dethrone Zelda.
Never mind.
You know what I mean?
Okay, well, there's two different Oh, no, that's Original Sin one I wasn't reading. It actually, the second one on PC got a 93, so you know what? Never mind. I guess if I thought about it in that way, I guess it wouldn't be that surprising.
I still don't think it was big enough where people were like, this is the game of the year. It's going to take down like a Zelda. Yeah, like that's
I knew
the thing.
on my radar that it was one of those games that I should play, but it's never been like the everybody's talking about it kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Like in the circle that play like the Diablo isometric kind of games, they're all talking about it. But outside of that community, not really. Like Baldur's Gate is in the same vein that oh my God. I'm already blanking, but like it's one of those games that it kind of just busted through. Oh, Elden Ring, duh, idiot. But it's like one of those games that like in that niche circle, everyone knows about it, but the outside world generally doesn't pay attention to it. Dark Souls started to crack the barrier, and then Elden Ring just shattered it, and whatever pieces were left were scattered across the universe. And Baldur's Gate now with doing this absolute running of the gamut, suddenly now is out there for a lot of people to see. There's going to be a lot of people now that are going to try this game out of curiosity that would never try isometric games before. And again, like much like Elden Ring, I think that's great because it's giving people the opportunity in the same way that Kaylan tried 16, right? Like it's weird how in the last like 12-ish months that a lot of games are coming out in very niche markets that are eclipsing past that niche. It's very interesting to see how that's changing. Like, again, it's the idea of going back to our topic that we did on the main show with the fear of missing out. Because a lot of these games now are becoming that, there's so many more games out there that are catching our interest because they're from genres that we normally don't like, but there's something about them that we're just like, that looks really cool. I really want to try that. And Baldur's Gate's the same way for me. I'm not a big fan. Like, I don't like Diablo really at all. Like, I've tried 2 and 3. They're okay, I guess, but I've never been big into them. Disco Elysium I've tried. I want to play Divinity Original Sin 2. Baldur's Gate 3, I mean, anything that has that glowing review, I have to try, just for curiosity's sake. But also, like, it's one of those games that I would love to know what an RPG that really opens up to you actually is. Because there's a lot of games that sort of do that, but in bursts. Whereas it sounds like this game is very open, like, in customized, like, you can basically do almost whatever you want.
Like a true D&D game.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be the one way I can get into D&D, because if you actually sit me down at a table, I can't get into it.
Missing out, man.
Missing out. We'll sit you down at a table with a Steam Deck of Baldur's Gate 3 on it. That's the way.
Okay, that's not bad. I mean, if I don't have to pay for Baldur's Gate, that's a win for me. That's extra money in my pocket.
You have to buy Baldur's Gate in the Steam Deck.
Damn it. But yeah, any last thoughts from you guys before we take this off the air?
Nope.
No,
I'm
just
good.
that I'm so surprised at Baldur's Gate's 3 popularity. I knew it was going to be good. I knew people were going to love it. I knew, like you said, with Diablo 4 crowd and everything like that group of people, everybody from that like genre, were going to love it. But just how mainstream it's made it, it's very surprising to me. I'm very happy for it. I'm glad. That means a good game is good. But still, I think I'm in shock.
Yeah, to think that we had competition for Zelda months later, when we thought it was going to be potentially more in October, that we were going to start seeing like how the actual nominees might be shaking out. It just caught everybody off guard. And I mean, it's great because it means it's another really awesome game that a lot of people get to try. So
yeah.
Anything else from you, Kaylan? Are you all good?
Oh, I'm good.
Perfect. Well, with that being said, that's going to end this edition of Pixel Play Sidequests. Hope you guys enjoy this smaller content. We're going to try doing these every week, depending on if there's something that we can put in like a 10 to 15 minute clip. So we can't guarantee it'll be every week, but that's our goal. So obviously, this being YouTube only now, I can straight up just say, like the video, subscribe to the channel for more. Obviously, you have the link tree at the bottom there on your screen. I almost said link tree. No, linktr.ee/pixelplaypodcast, where you can get a link to our socials, link to our Discord, link to everywhere where you can catch the main podcast. And obviously, we will see you guys every Wednesday at noon when the main episodes post. But from now, we will try to get these shorter clips in there so you guys have something else to do, a little bit on the side, like a nice little dessert after the main course, you know?
Dessert.
Yeah, dessert. I still have the cookie because we recorded this on the same day. But yeah, that's it for this episode. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you on either the next extra or next side quest. I see we were talking about names earlier and we're mixing them all up. But we'll see you on the next side quest, and we'll see you on the next main episode as well. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye for now.